So Jeff, we all grew up through traditional media having the lion's share of marketing and advertising budget. Certainly for every one of our clients, and I'm sure for Kodak as well, most of the media budget goes into traditional media. It's being cut back and it's being reallocated to move into online. Which of the 10 traditional media channels do you believe will get hit most heavily as more and more eyeballs and ears move online?
Well, I think there's some aspects of print that are going to be hit by that. I think broadcast is actually going to have the worst of the fall off, and I'm talking about radio primarily, more so than TV. I still think TV would be there because there's so many different ways to reuse that television online. And so I call it the step and repeat process. So I think it's going to be very effective for marketers to where they can do one thing and then repeat it many times. So to be able to build content. So the visual content that's on broadcast television can also be used on cable, can be used online, and can be used in a number of different ways for delivery and presentations and a whole host of other things. So I think the one that's probably going to get hit the most, a little bit of print, and mostly display print, yellow pages, those kinds of things, depending on the size of the business. If you're a small business, a lot of those things are going to go away entirely. But for a larger business, direct mail is still a very viable option. We see 13-to-1 ratios on direct mail, highly personable, highly customizable, and very pinpointable in terms of reaching. If you want to reach 14-year-old, young women, size 14 shoes and left-handed, you can find them, all three of them in the United States. But you can find them and you can mail to them. So I think there's still going to be some very, some bigger things that are going to actually increase. And so I think direct mail is one of those areas you'll increase. I think you'll see a lot more moving online, obviously. Social media and different tools will be important as well.
So it sounds like the more narrowcast media are more likely to survive, because you can target with direct mail, and to some extent, some magazines are very niche-y, so you can potentially target there. But the sort of radio, where it's a very general demographic and psychographic audience, is going to suffer more because there's no use of content.
Well, look at it. So when I stepped into Kodak a few years ago, not only was Kodak going through this transformation, I said at the same time we're going through a transformation, media was going through a transformation, and I predicted it for a long time that we're moving from broadcast to narrowcast models. And so narrowcast then itself says you've got to pinpoint media. So when you look at radio, for instance, some people would argue you can pinpoint it at local and so forth, but I just ask you, look in your house. Where's your radio? It's not there anymore. Now that's being played more in the car. It's online. We've moved to iPods, iTunes. We've cut out a lot of that traditional type of media, even in that narrowcast model. So those things that are more narrowcast, specific to the person and their behaviors and predicted behaviors, are going to get the lion's share of the money.